All right, welcome back to another boring install video. Today we're going to be installing our full skid plate for the KRX 1000. Guys, this is like a must-have item, and down here at the dealer locally, they're in that shop left and right, and they're torn apart. There is no built trannies from Kawasaki. It's just parts, so you're relying on the techs at the Kawasaki dealer to rebuild your tranny and so on and so forth. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't be waiting, 3-6 months for parts or anything else. Just put on one of the skids. It's the only option out there, and don't worry about it anymore. So it doesn't matter if you do rocks. It doesn't matter if you're just trail riding. We have seen everybody come through here and their skids are smashed. This particular rig behind me is the Obar KRX 1000, and this thing has a bone stock skid. I'll let Wyatt get underneath there and show it to you. And you're already gonna see it's smashed up. This is not a rock crawler. This has not been rock crawling, and that skid is already bashed in because basically at the end of the day, it's Chinese beer can metal and it's just not strong enough. So he's also gonna show you too, the other issue is there's no gap. There's no gap between that skid plate and the transmission. So any more hit up, all you're doing is hitting an aluminum housing that is super thin. It cracks it. It either breaks it off on the bottom or it just starts draining, and there's nothing you can do about it. So simple, cheap insurance, and none of our cars go without it. So I just think it's one of those kind of must do. So I know Greg's was sitting down at the dealer. His has been there for 3.5 months because of this issue, and simply doing this, would have saved him all that headache. So today we're going to do a quick install, and well, try a quick install. But as you can see, we had to try to mock it up for video, figure out some way to show you guys. So we hung it with a 30,000-pound strap from the forklift. So I would say don't try this at home, but you probably don't have a forklift. And hopefully we're safe. I even put a jack underneath it just in case we did fall. Maybe I could roll quick enough in time, but I'm going to get right to it. So first you got to open up the bag. You notice all the hardware is pretty much the same, but you have two longer bolts. The two longer bolts are the ones that go back here. That's it. Everything else is pretty much the same size. So one of the things we'll show you too towards the end of this video is installing a skid plate. So, or I should say a Delrin skid plate. And it doesn't matter which brand, they all kind of mount in the same holes is what we've noticed. So it kind of will go towards all of them about how to do it. But one thing that needs to be said is you have your stock skid plate, and this one is beat up. So if you can, take some pry bars, some tubes, something, and try to pound it down, but don't hit that transmission, and try to straighten it the best you can. If you can't, hey, no big deal, you've got a protector now. But it goes this skid plate, then the new steel skid plate from us, and then your Delrin skid plate. So your Delrin one will screw in. The only thing we've noticed is, I believe the Super ATV one, these needed to be a little longer in the back, so you might have to source 2 bolts, and with different heads and stuff, but most people have them lying around, so you'd be good there. So, okay, so the first thing I'll show you to do, you're gonna need a 3/8 drill bit. Get underneath here. Let's see if Wyatt can show you here. So the skid plate goes on with 6 bolts. You've got the 2 in the back here. You've got 1 here and 1 here. And then the other 2 are gonna be up in here, and you're gonna drill those. So for right now, we're just gonna drill out these 4 to 3/8. I'm going to break and go get another drill bit because this one is dull. Okay, back at it with a new drill bit. Only thing to really be careful of above it is like your CB boots. You don't want to stick your drill bit in your CB boots, but that's it. So get those 4. Now I'm going to start with the 2 longer bolts. There. 2 washers and 2 nuts. And if you got clamps, these will definitely help you out. Actually, I'm going to cut for a second and go back and get something else. Okay, so the next part I got to do is basically put it up and get the 2 rear bolts in. Because it's hanging in the air, you've got to get to them from the top, so I'm not going to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is set it up here. I'll show you guys how I set it up with a clamp, and then I'll have to get everything from the top. So I'm going to cut the video as soon as I get this up there. So just line up your back holes as best you can, and then clamp the front. That one. Okay, and then we'll get the nuts on the top. Okay, so we got the first 2 bolts in. This is extremely hard to do from hanging in the air. It's usually a lot easier from the top side. It is really tight back in these corners to get in there and fish the nut on and stuff, but you can do it. So the next 2 we're going to do, and for the same reason with the camera, we're going to have to fight them from the top, but we're going to put these 2 in next. Okay, so we got those 2 in there. The next process, being in the air, is going to take 2 people. Trying to put it in the air, make it easier, is definitely make it harder for video. So Wyatt's holding the top, and what I'm going to do is just start slowly tightening them in. So I didn't get that completely tight. Crisscross here. And you see, because they're countersunk bolts, they're going to start centering the whole skid for you. So, ready? Yep.
This is really hard. Okay, go for it.
Okay, one more.
Go for it.
Ready?
No. Go.
It's spinning. Yeah, it's spinning.
No, I have it.
Okay, go back to that front one. Let's get that one tight.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. And then I'll cut again and I'll go back and get some other tools, show you how to do the front 2. Okay, so that's it. Basically, we got those 4 tight, and now you just basically have to drill these 2 in the front here. You'll also note too, we have a bunch of big holes in here for miscellaneous debris and stuff to fall out of, and you have a match of your factory drain hole, so you can still do all your services and everything. You can also actually pull this clamp back off. So the next step is take out a Sharpie, mark your hole. Okay. Center punch them. To say it's a wee bit scary hanging underneath a car like this. Okay, so that was just a starter step bit. Now I'm actually going to go to the true 3/8 one. Bit. Okay, so I don't think I need to go further into the installation. Basically, it's put the 2 bolts in, and as I said, too long, too short, and too short. We're going to put those in, and that's done. It wraps it up. The only other thing to keep in mind is if you have aftermarket skid plates. Most mount in these holes and these holes. So they usually don't mount up here, but there's 4 or 5 different brands out there, so it's hard to say. But the easiest way to get through this is to check the measurement of whatever self-tapper bolts or whatever they want you to put in. A lot of the companies use them that replace the ones in the existing holes. So you can actually check the hole size with a drill bit, or even compare it to your screw and run a pilot hole right where you got to put them once you put your skid plate up. But that's about the most difficult part. So this is gonna save your butt. And you'll even see we did a nice bend in the front too, so it keeps it up so you don't get caught on it, you don't get stuck on it, and it's nice insurance, guys. So again, Jake from Full Access UTV, much appreciated. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll try to get you some more boring install videos. Thanks for watching.